Hello, so today we're going to begin packet 11, which is our unit on linear functions. So we're going to start with lesson 46. And lesson 46 is slope intercept form and graphing lines. So first is a quick do now. Pause this video and write down anything you know about what does it mean to be linear. So if you look in the word linear, you see a very special keyword, which is line. And that's a great hint, and that's exactly really what it means to be linear. So linear is just a straight line. So we're going to be dealing with graphing lines today, straight lines. Linear is a straight line. So in our slope intercept form, we have our equation, which is y equals mx plus b. And we know x and y are always points on a line, but m and b are the two different parts to this equation. We discussed a lot with m in the last packet when we talked about our slope. So remember, m is the slope of a line. And remember, slope is our rate of change. And we said slope, we always like to leave it as a fraction. And you're going to see why we talked about that today. Then we have b, which is our y-intercept. And what our y-intercept means is it's where the line crosses the y-axis. Think about intercepting means to cross over. So that's where it's crossing the y-axis. So here we have find the slope and the y-intercept in the given equations. So something that I like to do to help me is I see y equals 4x plus 1. I'll write my equation above it. Y equals mx plus b. And notice, which one's attached to the x is the slope. So the slope is always attached to the x. And the y-intercept, or the b, is just our constant. It's our number that's completely alone. So if we're looking there first, let's identify what is my y-intercept, which is alone. So that's my b. And here it's a positive 1. Then I have my slope, which is attached to the x. And my slope here is 4 is attached to the x. Or we said we always like to write it as a fraction. Well, how can I write my 4 as a fraction? How do you write any number as a fraction? Well, if I put 4 over 1, it's the same thing as 4. Okay, now I want you to take a second, pause this video, try example 2, and then brainstorm 3 and 4, because those are a little bit trickier. So when we look at example 2, we like to write our equation above, y equals mx plus b. My b, or my y-intercept value, is here a -5, and notice we keep that negative sign with it. And then the m, the one that's attached to the x, is a negative. Remember, that's an invisible 1, so my slope is -1. Or how can we write that as a fraction? Well, we could put any number over 1 to make it a fraction. So -1 over 1. This one, number 3, I wanted you to brainstorm. We have y equals mx plus b. What do you notice about the two equations? Is this number 3 in the proper format? No, it's not, because the x does not come first. So y equals, oh, let's switch it. I have a 7 and a negative 4x. I need to switch the order. So I'm going to put negative 4x first, then my positive 7 comes next. Now it's in my proper slope-intercept form. Now it looks like that y equals mx plus b. So my b value is 7. My m value is the one that's attached to the x, which is a negative 4. Or if we write that as a fraction, it's negative 4 over 1. Once again here, we have y equals mx plus b. Well, first, what's my y-intercept here? I don't see anything there. I only see the x, so that means my y-intercept is just 0. And then the number that's attached to the slope, to the x, is my slope, so my slope is 3. Or if I write that as a fraction, 3 over 1. All right, now let's actually talk about how do we graph our linear equations. So there are a couple steps to graphing our linear equations. The first step is going to be to plot our y-intercept. Or our b value. Remember, y-intercept is b. So if I look here in this equation, y equals mx plus b, my b value is negative 1. So what I'm going to do is, it's where the line crosses my y-axis. So I'm going to go on my y-axis to negative 1 and plot a point there. So I'm going to, negative 1 is there. So that's going to be my y-intercept. Then next, we're going to use the slope to plot more points. On the line. So here my slope is 1 over 2. Now we need to think back when we were looking for slope. What was our formula that we used to find slope when we were given a graph? Well, our formula was rise over run. So remember, rise is either going up or down, and run was going left or right. We have a 1. That's a positive 1. So a positive 1 would tell me I'm going up 1. Then we have 2. It's a positive 2, so that tells me I'm going to the right 2. So from our y-intercept point, we're then going to go up 1, right 2. Plot the point. We're going to go up 1, right 2. Plot the point. Up 1, right 2. And you're going to continue doing that pattern until you can't do it anymore. Now, what if I wanted to go in the opposite direction? I would have to do the complete opposite. Instead of going up 1, right 2, I'm going to go down 1. And instead of right 2, I'm going to go left 2. So from my y-intercept, I'm going to go down 1, left 2. Down 1, left 2. And we're going to continue that until we can't anymore. Then the next step is going to be to draw our line. with our arrows on the ends with a straight edge. So I'm going to use my straight edge. I'm going to draw my line, put my arrows on the end. And then finally, we are going to label the line with the equation. So I need to take my equation here and I'm going to label it. So that means write it just like along the line. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1. All right, let's look at the next one together. We're going to follow the same steps. Y equals -1/2 x plus 2. So first we're going to find our y-intercept. And here my y-intercept is 2. So I'm going to go on my y-axis. And I'm going to plot 1, 2. Then we're going to use our slope to plot more points. So my slope here is -1/2. So that means either my top or the bottom of the fraction is negative, not both. So we're going to say -1/2. And if we're thinking about our rise over run, -1 is telling me I'm going down 1. And +2 tells me I'm going right 2. So for my y-intercept, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down 1, right 2, plot my point. Down 1, right 2. And we're going to continue that pattern until you can't anymore. Now, what if you chose the other way? What if you chose to make it a +1 and a -2? Notice instead of going down 1, we're going up 1. And instead of going right 2, we went left 2. So it's just the opposite. It's just going in the other direction, which is exactly what we want to do. So from here, we're going to go up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. And keep going until you can't anymore. Then we're going to use our straight edge. Draw our line with our arrows and label our line with the equation. So we have y equals -1/2 x plus 2. So then there's a couple more practice examples that I would like you to take some time to complete. So pause this video and do so. Okay. Now we're going to look at how to use the calculator to graph linear functions.